Welcome to Re-Educated TV, where we keep you informed.
Let's first trod the path many of us are familiar with before venturing the unknown. Before we get to the true meaning of the allegorical story of Noah and his sons, let's briefly explore the story of Noah as we know it. As far as we know, or we're told, Noah is a patriarch in the tradition of the Abrahamic religions, Muslims, Christianity, and Baha'is religion. So stories of Noah can be found in the Hebrew Bible, the Quran, the Christian's Bible, the Baha'is writings, and in associated Deuterocanonical books. The scriptures mentions Noah, his three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, together with Noah's wife and the wives of his three sons, which were aboard the ark. It is said that one of Noah's four wives were aboard the ark, but she is nameless in the Bible. Some apocryphal literature identifies her with Naamah, the daughter of Lamech, a descendant of Cain. According to the story, Noah's parent was also Lamech, the same Lamech who is said to be the 8th generation descendant of Adam. Genesis chapter 5 verse 25, the son of Methuselah and the father of Noah. Genesis chapter 5 verses 29. In the genealogy of Seth, in Genesis chapter 5 verse 12 to 25, Lamech was son of Methuselah, who was a grandson of Jared, who was a grandson of Kenan, descended from Adam. According to the Dead Sea Scrolls, Noah's wife is named Emzara. In Genesis chapter 6 verse 18, God says to Noah, "But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you." The Deuterocanonical book, said to be the Tobit, written in 225 to 175 BCE, does not name any of the wives aboard Noah's ark, but states that Noah's wife was one of his own kindred. Tobit chapter 4 verse 12. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 20, said to be written in the late 1st century AD, states that there were 8 people on the ark. Now, the question is, why would the names of Noah's wife and the wives of his sons not mentioned or widely mentioned, as important as they were to the story? So according to the story, Ham, Shem, and Japheth were the progenitors of the earth. So surely their wives would have been very important. But apparently they are not, which should be a clear sign that something is wrong with the story. The stories of Noah are clearly allegorical. In regards to the Khazarian Empire, I have shown you their invention of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their new meaning of the three sons of Noah, as if it wasn't allegorical already, which we will get to. But the secret was that the sons of Noah were their division of the world. The family of Fatima in Egypt, the family of Omnia in Spain, and the family of Abbas in Baghdad, in which, in that time, was considered the 3 capitals of the world. Their rule of Africa, Asia, and Europe. The original story of Noah originated in the Indus and Tibet, where Noah was called Menu. Later, it was taken to Africa, where the name changed to Menes. Then to the British Isles, where the name became Neul, and we now come to know this personage as Noah. It should be of no surprise that some words have changed by way of letters and their meaning by various nations, and I have no doubt that each have their own good reason in doing so. We shall now enter a place unknown to many, that same place where truth is stranger than fiction. Now, among the ancient Buddhists, or the inventors of this ancient system, the word Menu originally meant water. Menu and Meru are dialect variations. For example, Maria and Mania are written and used indiscriminately in the language of Siam and Malabar. Menu and Meru originally had the same meaning, which is water. The word Menu and Meru have taken on many meanings over the centuries, but it originally represented the preserver or mother of creation, the primordial waters. She was then made to be the wisdom that was formed, the sun. She was then made to be a man among the worshippers of the male principle. He was then made to be the first king of several nations. Among others, Menu was made to be the planet Saturn. And last but not least, he was made to be the only one saved from a great disaster caused by a flood. We have now come to the first avatar, known as Menu in the Indus, the first law, the law of creation of man. He was called Neol in the British Isles, where it is said in the annals that he was first before Gadellus, or Gadellus lived a long time after him, of which Gadellus, who is believed to be contemporary with Moses, was a descendant of Neol. He was called Menes in Egypt and was said to give the first laws. In Crete, he was called Minos, who was said to be the first legislator of Crete. He was called Meni and Menai in Hermania or Armenia. He was also called Noah in the Indian language. He was the Numa of the Romans. He was Memnon of Africa, Na'u, Noe, and today we know him as Noah, the progenitor of all mankind, the one that was saved by the flood. Menu, who is allowed to be identical to Buddha and the sun, was the SON of the Creator. Menu signifies mind, understanding, the wisdom that was formed. Now out of the Chaldean and Hebrew MNR came the word or name Minerva of the Greeks. Minerva is Menu. Miner is joined to the VA or VAU, which is the female principle. So Minerva is the female Menu. This word MNR in English is man. In Latin, men's mind, to remember, and the Sanskrit man or men, to think. There is obviously a connection between Buddha and Minerva as wisdom and mind. The Greek word nous and the Sanskrit word men are the same. Both mean mind and intelligence. And the Latin word men and the English word mind are fundamentally one and the same word. Buddha was the first Ras or Razit, the wisdom that was formed. Ras means wisdom, the divine mind. The name Ras or Razit was also given to the first book of wisdom. Now, to this divine mind or divine wisdom, the priests attributed their codes of law. Thus, in Egypt, Menes was said to give the first law or laws. In the mythos, Menu is said to be the first king of Egypt, called Menas or Menes, who it is said reigned at Thebes and later Memphis, as Thebes was an ancient city, and the city of Memphis came after. So the first king of Thebes was said to be Menes or Menes, the Thebetanite or Thebian. The second that reigned was called Hermogenes or Hermogenes, that is the begotten of Hermes. The name Menu was corrupted among the Romans to Numa, who was said to be the first legislator of Rome, who was credited with Rome's early religious and political institutions. He was given the mythical name P. Ampelius. When read from right to left, the word Numa becomes Manu, which was the mode in which the ancients read and wrote their sentences. In the Indian language, Nua Banda means ship cable mount, the same mount in the flood of Noah where the ark was said to be fastened. The Latin word navis is from the word Nua and also the Greek word Na'u, and the word band is a common English word for a cord or cable. In the country of Mount Meru, the mount now called Boris in Armenia, the mount to which was said Noah fastened his ship. In the midst of this word Armenia, the word many and menai can be found. Minos of Crete, who was said to be the son of Jupiter and the beautiful Io, was the first legislator of Crete. In its mythos, he was the son of Zeus and Meropa. Meropa a Phoenician princess and the personification of Europe. The word Meroe of Africa later became Meropa, then Merope, and changed yet again to Europe. So, in short, the word or name Europe came from the word Europa or Europe, which came from the words Meroe, Meropa, or Merope. Meroe and Meru are also dialect variations. They are the same words and have the same meaning. In the same manner, the words Europe and Meru are dialect variations. Therefore, Europe have the same meaning as a Meru, water. The heretical Jews worshipped the planetary bodies under the name of Meni or Menai, in which they say means the disposers of placers in order. So, among the Jews, Menu was the planetary bodies. I should add that the city, or more properly put, the twin city located in the United States called Minneapolis, is quite revealing. It is said that Charles Hogue suggested on combining the Dakota word for water, Emeni, with the Greek word polis. Emeni is menai or many, which originally means water. And the Greek word Apolis means the city of Baal. Therefore, Minneapolis is the city of Menu or Noah and the city of Baal together. If we should remove the mythos of Baal, it would be the city of water and the city of the sun, the twin city. It is quite interesting that the word Emeni, changed to Mine, still holds the ancient meaning of water. Then there was the great mythical king named Memnon, who was said to be the king of Ethiopia. Memnon is also Menu. His statue was said to be in Egypt, and a depiction of him can be found or located in Altes Museum, Berlin, or so they say, where he is depicted as a Negroid. Memnon was a reincarnation of Menu. There were several reincarnations of Menu in the Indus, and there were several reincarnations of Menu in Assyria and Syria. There were 14 Buddhas or Menus who were representations of the sun. There were 14 Mahabads as there were 14 Menus, and they were made to be a dynasty of kings. So the first kings of Assyria, Syria, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Ethiopia, the Indus, Europe, East and West of Asia were all mythical kings. They were all Menus. Buddha and Zoroaster, or the Star of the Bull, are the same personages, the same as the Menu of Iran, which was the worship of Buddha or Tat under the form of a bull or both, human and bull. The Persians had 5 Zoroasters, which were the renewed incarnations of the Tauric god, and also thought to be the same as the Meru, or Menu, or Noah. We should not confuse the 10 main avatars of Buddha with the 14 Buddhas. The 14 Buddhas were the 14 incarnations of Menu, or Noah. And the 14 Buddhas also represented the 14 lunar solar cycle. Now, Sir W. Jones, a competent witness, maintains that the Hebrew NUH or NH is the Noah of Genesis. In Genesis chapter 5 verse 29, it is said that Noah is named NH or in a menu, Ihemenu, because he shall comfort us. The name of Noah, in a menu, the explanation of its definition, and the flood that destroyed the world are both ridiculous. The true meaning of this word in a menu or INHMNU is lost. The prefix, that is, as we already know that Menu or Noah originally means or meant water, and among others the sun. But the word INH is unknown to me. The word could possibly mean Menu shall lead or proceed. Water shall lead and proceed, which is used in many religious ceremonies or rite of passage or newly initiated members by way of baptism, which involves immersion in water or being anointed by holy water, and so on. Now, in Genesis chapter 8 verse 13, we have proof of the secret system, where it says, In the 601st year of Noah's life, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. This is nothing but the cycle of the Neros, the ending of a cycle and the renewal. So where it says in the 601st year of Noah's life, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters dried up from the earth, it is actually referring to a cycle of 600 years. We have seen the many names of Menu, which included the name of Noah. Now, let's see the real meaning of the mythical or allegorical story of Noah. I have previously shown the myth of Egypt's allegorical version of the ark, where they would sail their huge designated ships up or down the Nile, which signified sailing through the galaxy or Milky Way. Now let's get to the real meaning of Noah, his sons, their wives aboard the ark, and the ark itself. So 8 individuals were said to have occupied the ark. But in ancient times, when the myth was first created, the 8 individuals were representations of the sun and the 7 planets. In this mythos, Menu or Noah represented the sun, and Noah's wife and his sons and their wives represented the 7 planets. Among others, Noah was a representation of Saturn, and his 3 sons were representations of the planets Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto. The first avatar have come a long way. It was first water, then the sun, and the planets. But it is quite interesting that the real definition of a Meru is all of the above: water, heat or the sun, and the planetary bodies, and also the human body. No, the ark that we know as Noah's boat was originally called the Arga, Argai, and among others Arjun, before the word Arga was changed to ARK, the Ark. Arjun is the Black John in Tibet, known to us as Iones, Presta and Ayan, which was originally represented by a boat before it was universally changed to mean persons, personages, figures, and so on. The boat itself was figurative. It was originally meant to mean the boat was the savior of the universe, or of the sun and the 7 planets, and most importantly, the savior of all life forms. No. Why was the boat called John or Iones by the ancients is the question. Ptah, the god of Egypt, Peter of Rome, John, Prester John, Saint John, Simon, John the Baptist, Joanna and the whale, and Iones are representations of the Arga, or the Arga represents them all. Remember, the Arga is the ark in the original myth, which says the Arga or Iones or Ion or Ptah or Prestajon or Simon or St. John was the savior of the world. The various names for the boat or the savior were given to this savior in various eras of time, but were the same, no doubt. But of course, Iones or the other names given to the same personage or personage is also allegorical, which means there is a deeper meaning. Have you ever wondered why the electric barrier that protects the earth is called the ionosphere, or an atom or molecule with a net electric charge due to the loss or gain of one or more electrons is called ions? Ion or ions is John, Jon, and later John with the letter H added. The ionosphere is the layer of the Earth's atmosphere that contains a high concentration of ions and free electrons and is able to reflect radio waves. It lies above the Earth's surface, which protects the Earth. The ionosphere is home to all the charged particles in Earth's atmosphere. It protects organisms on Earth by absorbing those harmful extreme ultraviolet rays. So in short, ion or ions that they gave the name John in its mythos is really the savior and protector of the universe, planet Earth, and all life forms. Without ions, there would be no Earth and subsequently no living being. Ions is not subjected to the universe only, but also the human body. The universe and all life forms can be seen as one life or one entity that we all share. Some may think they have their own lives, but the truth is we are part of a whole. Some common examples of ions include sodium, potassium, calcium chloride, carbonates, magnesium, and phosphates, and so on. These substances are known as electrolytes, and they are a major part or play a major part in the building blocks of the human body. All the minerals that the body needs are charged with these ions and very important to our existence. In fact, the entire universe. Ions or atoms is everywhere and is in everything. There is hydrogen ions, oxygen ions. So water is ionic, electrolytic or electrolytic. Fire at a very high temperature flame contains positively charged ions and electrons, which will move the same way as the ions in the water. Fire is a plasma. There is also wind and air ions, which are electrically charged molecules or atoms in the atmosphere. In short, the four elements contains ions: earth, wind, water, and fire, and could not have existed without atom or ions. This is the reason why Iones, Ptah, and Peter, in its mythos, was made to hold the keys to heaven, and he was also given the first month of the year. In other words, he opens the gate to the start of the year, which was given the name January. So Janus' name is also January. Or you can say John was also January. The summer solstice was given to him also, and the month still bears his name, which is June. Now, the word ionosphere came from the Greek word ion. Ions governs, protects, and saves the universe and all life forms. So, of course, it was made to be the savior of man by the ancients, whom were very wise, before it became allegorical by the high priest of various sects who kept it hidden from the regular man and was also kept hidden from the lower initiates. In other words, there are many devotees of various faiths that are considered lower initiates and have no idea of the complete system. But the high priest or religious heads, they know. Maybe not all, but some do. Now, the Ionians' savior was Iones, or more properly put, Ions. In Greek mythology, Ion was king of Athens. He was said to be the son of Apollo by Creusa, the daughter of Erechtheus. Ions, or Atom, was the savior of all the avatars. All the avatars represented the sun. Ions is the savior of the universe and of all life forms. Ions is the savior of all nations. It was the savior in the time when it was called the Arga, then in the time when it was given the name Argai, then Aryun, later it was given the name Arjun, then John, Saint John, Jonah and the whale, or more properly put, Joanna and the whale, John the Baptist, Peter, Simon, Cephas, and Ptah of Egypt. There was also the era when he was called Iones, or Janus, or Juno, Presburjan with a B by the Portuguese, and also Presta John. This is clear proof that ions have always been the savior of man, from the beginning till this day. In the case of the Greeks and the Argonautic expedition of Colchis by Jason or Jason, in the region bordered on the southwest by Pontus, on the west by the Black Sea, as far as the river Corax. But the story of Jason or Jason has a deeper meaning. The story goes, Jason demands the return of his rightful throne. Peleus replies that Jason or Jason should first accomplish a difficult task to prove his worth. The task is for Jason to retrieve the golden fleece kept beyond the edge of the known world in a land called Colchis. Now all this is allegorical. The Argonautic expedition is referring to the Arga, the same Arga that represents John, or more properly put, Ion, the same Arga that was later called an ark. In this mythos, Jason, or Jason, who is Jassos, or Janus, or Iones, or John. So Jason represents ions or atoms. We see that in the original mythos, Iones was made to be the boat that saved the 7 planets and the sun. In the case of Jason, Iones was made to be the captain of the Argonautic expedition.
That's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care.